Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's DealerUn webinar. 5 ways live chat will help you sell more cars. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by DealerUn. And for anyone who isn't familiar with DealerUn, well, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency. And we're best known for our SEO, our best-in-class customer service, and our award-winning website designs, including the newly launched Chameleon Responsive Website Platform. We're so committed to lead conversion, optimization, and customer service that DealerUn is still the only company in the industry to offer a money-back lead guarantee program. So does your website company guarantee you a 50% lift in leads? Well, then maybe you should check us out at DealerUn.com. And we have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have Todd Smith as our presenter today. Todd Smith is the co-founder and CEO of ActivEngage, the automotive industry's leading live chat service provider. He has over 20 years of successful industry experience and has worked in every facet of dealership operations, including a year as a GM of a Chevrolet dealership. Todd has developed some of the most cutting-edge e-business, BDC, and showroom sales strategies and solutions for a variety of clients, including Ford, Ford of Canada, AutoNation, Budget Car Sales, Moritz Inc., Mazda North America, Toyota Motor Sales, ADP, Autotrader.com, and over 1,500 dealerships across the U.S. Todd is a highly respected member of the automotive community, and he can be reached at todd@activengage.com. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, don't worry, we're going to respond by email later today. Also, don't forget, a link to download a copy of the webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference, and please feel free to share it with friends and colleagues. And I also want to let you know that DealerUn is excited to announce their involvement at the upcoming Dealer Think Tank in Washington, D.C., August 14th. The Dealer Think Tank is spearheaded by a handful of dynamic subject matter experts who provide strategies, discuss ideas, challenge ideology, and create solutions for real-world problems facing the automotive industry. The think tanks have been garnering tremendous praise for their intensely informative, fun-filled education workshops, so you don't want to miss it. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, well, don't worry, DealerUn's here to help with an exclusive discount code. Guess what? That discount code on your screen, it's going to score you 50% off of the ticket price. Just use that discount code when you register. And if you message me directly during this webinar, I'm going to be giving away one free Dealer Think Tank ticket. So, for more information, go to DealerThinkTank.com. If you can make it out to DC on August 14th, you can get yourself a free Dealer Think Tank ticket just by writing into me right now. And I'm happy to tell you that our good friends at ActivEngage, they're giving away a fantastic prize today on the webinar. And guess what? All of you are winners. Every attendee today is going to be winning a free website homepage analysis utilizing ActivEngage's Active IMAP technology. What a great prize for your dealership. This prize is valued at $200, and you're all going to be contacted individually directly by our friends from ActivEngage about claiming your homepage analysis with Active IMAP technology. So congratulations, everyone. At the conclusion of the webinar, you're going to receive a short survey, so we want you to fill it out because we're always looking for quality feedback from our audience. Today we're going to randomly select a couple of people from all those completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. So let's get started. Let's learn 5 ways live chat is going to help you sell more cars. Todd Smith. It has been a long time, and I have not ever had you on my webinar, and I have never did a webinar about live chat. So this is a twofer for me today. I'm so excited you're here. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm very excited to be here and very excited to share a little bit of information about some effective ways, 5 actually, to help you leverage live chat to sell more cars. And I'll kind of jump in right now, talk about today's objectives. Very simple. We're going to talk about 5 effective strategies. We're going to highlight some best practice for your dealership with leveraging live chat. We're also going to debunk some myths about live chat. I think, over the course of the last 7 years, people have ideas in their mind of what chat is and what chat isn't. And I kind of want to go through and make sure everyone really gets on the same page of how to leverage this awesome technology. We'll take a little time, do some question and answers. We'll do it via video, make it fun and entertaining. So I kind of want to begin today with talking about the evolution of engagement. You know, when I first started selling cars in 1989, yes, I know it's a long time ago, it's kind of scary that I think about this, but, you know, everybody walked in at that time or called the dealership, but honestly, most people just walked in. They saw ads on television, radio, newspaper, you know, our double truck ad running on Sundays, and, you know, through time, you know, at what I would say mid-90s, BDC started to happen for follow-up service, so we started to leverage the phone scripts a little bit more. Then probably I would say mid-90, 96, you know, the internet kind of started to take hold barely, but people put web forms on and we started to get these leads via the internet. And, you know, it kind of changed how we interacted with customers. It allowed them to remain a little bit more anonymous. And now, you know, again, the evolution has changed one more time because now consumers can still remain anonymous yet get information from your dealership by leveraging live chat. And it's funny because, you know, you would think people want to continue to remain anonymous, but as soon as you answer a couple questions for them, they are more than happy to give information to you as well. So this is just kind of the evolution. I know also that we've seen a little uptick of the amount of phone calls being generated by dealerships, but we've also seen an uptick with the amount of chats being generated by dealers as well. And, you know, we kind of want to walk through and talk about really understanding that anonymous shopper first. And that is really learning that consumers want questions answered before they step out into the light. And I think it's a very important thing, and live chat offers a powerful gateway for you to be able to accomplish that. Consumers can hop online. Let's say they just have one or two questions before they want to take the next step, and live chat is that absolute easy gateway. They don't have to wait for a form reply. That could take, you know, a day, take an hour. Who knows? Some dealerships don't reply at all. You know, I saw a study that was done by GM, and it was about 54% of lead forms were not followed up on at all. So, you know, consumers know that. Sometimes they don't want to call because they don't want to be put into that high-pressure phone scenario. So live chat allows them to remain anonymous, get one or two questions answered, to have some confidence, then give up their information. And, you know, I kind of believe this all comes down to, I blame it all on Google. Google has helped position the consumer's mind that you can get any question answered instantly by typing it in. So, you know, leveraging live chat is a powerful weapon for you to use inside your dealership. So, connecting with anonymous shoppers, I think one of the most important things. And, you know, to me, using live chat to stand out is critical. You know, if we kind of look and leverage live chat in the way that I think will get you the highest return, what I call that red hot return, is ensuring that you have good placement of your live chat icons, ensuring that you have the right go-to-market philosophy to really get in there. The other thing I look at is where you can place live chat, you know, whether it's through any of your social media, whether it's through, you know, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, you could probably have, you could do email marketing, not only your website, your landing pages, anything that's driven from, you know, response type marketing, your retargeting ads, all these can have a component of live chat built into it to allow consumers that instant access to have one question answered. To me, it's like a gateway application. It allows customers to have that quick, hey, I have this quick question. I don't want to take the next step and call. I'm not going to submit a form, and I'm not driving to the store. But if I can get this one question answered, I'm willing to take the next step. And to me, ultimately having chat fluidly throughout your digital e-commerce experience. And, you know, here's one, Used Car King, Todd Caputo, great dealer up in the Rochester area, sells anywhere between, you know, 500, 800 cars a month on his big months, but he even advertises on TV, leveraging live chat as a powerful tool, and he does a ton of chat. Like, here's a single point site that does anywhere between 25, 30,000 unique visitors, and he's driving everybody into starting that conversation online because he understands the importance and the power that consumers, a lot of times they want to move forward, but we need to give them the tools to be successful at it. So that takes me to what I call the poll question. So we're going to poll you guys. Eliana, will you help me out? And let's get some good poll question going here.
All right, audience, here's your first of 4 poll questions today. And this is an interesting one. We want to know, how long do you think a shopper is going to wait for a chat to be answered on average? On average, how long you think a shopper is going to wait online for that? Please select one of the following answers. Do you think it's only 10 seconds? Do you think on average a shopper will wait 22 seconds? Maybe you think they're pretty patient and they'll wait 35 seconds? Or are you one of those people who thinks a car shopper will wait on average a long time, but not longer than 60 seconds? Whatever you think the answer is, well, guess what? Once we get this poll and close it out and show the results, our friend Todd Smith over here, he's going to tell us what the actual answer is. So we're looking for your votes. We want to know, how long do you think on average a shopper online is going to wait for their chat, their live chat, to be answered? Once we get them, oh, we already have a majority of the votes. Thank you so much, audience. I love when you get involved. So votes are still coming in. And Todd, I don't know the answer, but I think the audience thinks that they know the answer, because there is one that is really, everyone's voting for this one answer. So let's see. All right, audience, we're going to close this poll and share the results. Todd, are you ready for this?
I'm ready. What do we got?
Let's do this.
I'm ready for it.
All right. Well, the majority, 55% of today's audience, think that it's answer B, 22 seconds. 34% of today's audience say it's only 10 seconds. 7% of today's audience think that it's 35 seconds. And there is 3% of today's audience who think that a shopper will wait up to 60 seconds to have their live chat answered. What do you think, Todd? What is the correct answer?
The correct answer, I'm going with your 34%. It is 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Only 10 seconds, and then they're on to the next thing. Is that what you're telling me?
Go on to the next thing, because let's think about it and break it down real quick before we move on. 10 seconds online as you're staring at a computer feels like an eternity. And people, again, going all the way back to the Google concept, are absolutely impatient. They want things now. Google has trained our brain that I can type any question into the Google machine, and inside 0.021 of a second, I get my answer. And that is the power of what I think is conditioning being translated down to consumers' experience online. And 10 seconds is about all we have. And then we see a mass attrition. Now, will all customers leave at 10 seconds? Absolutely not, but a very high percentage. And this is very important. So you have to be in that mindset that you can pick up those conversations so fast and you can get engaged really quickly with that consumer to be consistent and have success with live chat. So we'll move forward now, and let's talk really about building trust in that relationship, because that, to me, is one of the foundational points of being successful with leveraging live chat. So without further ado, I will tell you, you have about 6 seconds to pick up a live chat. 6 seconds in your mind. That means you have to have staff always available and to be able to launch and get into conversation quickly. You don't want to wait for consumers to be passed around trying to find someone in your dealership who's available online. You want it instant, because that is what works, and that's what's going to get you the best result. Now, you also have about 30 seconds to go back and forth with the shopper, meaning when a customer asks you a question, you only have about 30 seconds to respond. That is best case scenario. If you can respond in the 10, 15, 20 seconds, you're going to keep the conversation moving more fluidly, and you're going to have a more successful outcome. The longer gap you wait between your back and forth conversation, you will find those conversations erode and ultimately will not end in a lead or opportunity for your dealership. And when I mean a lead, you captured a name, an email, phone number, or even set an appointment with inside that chat conversation. The other thing, scripts. When you put scripts in, a few things happen. One, consumers don't believe you're real anymore because there's no way you can type back a whole gigantic 3 or 4 paragraph comment to a consumer instantly when they ask something. So what we found in all of our experience of doing live chat over the last 7 years, and millions of live chat conversations and hundreds of thousands of them a month, that we want to have a free flow. We want to have a conversation because conversations get us to that end goal. Conversations, just like we would have on the phone, directing and leading the consumer down a path, are much more effective than trying to find a script to fit the conversation. So we think it's critical for us moving forward to be successful, whether you're doing a chat or you're using an outsource, doesn't matter, that you have a free flow conversational strategy in place. Now, Eliana, I'm going to need your help again because we have another awesome quick poll, and I want to get some feedback and get some understanding of what our audience is thinking.
Absolutely right. All right, audience, your second poll question of today. We just want to know, does your dealership currently have live chat on its website? Please select one of the following answers. Is it yes, and it's really made a difference for us? Or maybe your answer is yes, but we're not really using it as well as we could be. How about no, not yet, but we're thinking about it, and that's why we're here today? Or is the answer no, I don't think management would spend money on that, or you're still not sure of the value and or ROI of live chat? Whatever the answer is, we want to know, so get your votes in. Does your dealership currently have live chat on its website? Looking forward to seeing what everyone says, and we already have a majority of the votes in, so I'll give you a couple more seconds if you haven't voted yet to get your votes in, all right? All right, Todd, you ready for this?
Tell me.
Okay, he's ready. Let's go. We're going to close this poll and share the results. 42% of today's audience said yes, they got live chat, and you know what? It's really made a difference for them. Now, along with that, 31% of today's audience say that they do have live chat, but they admit that they're not really using it as well as they could be. But altogether, Todd, you know, that's 73% of today's audience do have live chat. So that's a huge percentage of our audience. Now, on top of that, 15% says that they don't have live chat yet, but they're thinking about it, and that's why they're here today. 4% of today's audience said they're not sure that management would spend money on live chat. And surprisingly, 8% of today's audience, well, they still need to be convinced of the value and ROI of live chat. Todd, any comments?
That is great news. I can tell you this means we have a super progressive audience because if we take dealerships nationwide, only about 35% actually are utilizing live chat. So with an audience of over 70% utilizing it already, that's awesome. That means now how do we craft and fine-tune what you have to get the most out of it? Now, then we have obviously, what you say, about 8% that are still in need of a little convincing, a little massaging to get the most out of it. And, you know, that's a part of what we're trying to do today. But we're also trying to help what I consider strengthen your competitive advantage by utilizing live chat. And this, to me, is that critical tool that I found. And I will tell you very briefly, live chat and ActivEngage exists because when I had my Chevrolet store, I drove a ton of traffic to my website, and I always was trying to find one extra tool that would help me increase conversion. And I stumbled upon an article that Earthlink, remember Earthlink back in the time, the ISP provider, was using live chat to sell broadband subscriptions. And I said, would it be possible to use live chat to sell cars? So I looked around, found some generic live chat, I put it on my website, and it was amazing. The first person pops up on my site, and I basically went at him like a savage bear. I said, oh, I see you're looking at an Equinox. I have 3 more Equinoxes I just bought on Smart Auction, and these people left my website like it was on fire because I freaked them all out. I said, oh, I could see you're right down in Hoboken. You're only about a 20-minute drive from me. I think I played too much Big Brother. But what I learned out of this was people want to talk, they want to remain anonymous, and ultimately I was able to add and almost double the amount of leads I was producing through my website by adding live chat. So to me, this company exists from personal experience. So, you know, I look at your website as that virtual showroom, and if you don't have a live body on it, meaning live chat, you're hoping and praying that your website is doing all the talking by itself. And we would never, ever just open up a dealership in the physical world, put tons of cars out there, and let the customers just have at it. That would just not happen. We put salespeople because we know to be successful, we need to do some convincing. We need to massage the consumer. We need to do needs analysis. We need to walk them through this experience that they feel good about buying. And we should be applying that same mentality to the web because, believe it or not, our websites aren't the most intuitive. You know, customers do have questions because a lot of them, this is their first time, you know, buying a car online or second time, or, you know, they just don't have the experience of using dealership websites every single day like we use. And to me, this is a powerful opportunity for us to be the voice, to step out, make your website come alive, turn it from a billboard into an interactive conversational experience. And I think that is the profound piece of what live chat can do for you. So let's break down. So you're already using live chat. Well, if you're using live chat, you need to be able to overcome these popular questions. Is this vehicle still available? You should have access to the vehicle inventory, or your staff should have access to the vehicle inventory. That way, you can answer these questions easily to move the shopper to the next step, which equals showing up at your dealership or turning into a lead. You know, I have bad credit, do I qualify? You know, we actually at ActivEngage had to block social security numbers from coming through because, believe it or not, consumers would type their social security number and it says, can you approve me before I come down to the dealership? To me, all this is that customer who's afraid of the face-to-face turndown, right? So live chat can be that gateway. Let me walk you through a credit app at this point. Let me move you through the experience to see if you're going to qualify. Let's take those steps. You know, do I have to schedule a service appointment, or how do I schedule a service appointment? Can I do it online? Here's an easy way. You can, believe it or not, and we'll talk about it a little bit more as we go, but about 30% of all live chats are service and parts related. So huge fixed ops opportunity to leverage live chat throughout the dealership. Does the vehicle have X features? Whoever's doing the chat, whether it's your people in the dealership or you're outsourcing, they better have tons of product knowledge or have access to that product knowledge, because a lot of times it only takes one or two questions to break open the relationship with the shopper and move them to the next step. You know, what are your hours? Are you open? That's another huge one we get. So being able to answer these questions really easy for the consumer helps to build trust, add value. And I will tell you, this is where these questions, if you look at them really closely, if you boil them all down, they're not truly sales questions. These are customer service-oriented questions. So you are much better to take off your sales hat, put on a customer service-minded hat, and treat your online shoppers just as that. Help them through the experience. Do it with a smile on your face or a emoticon through chat, but work through and help them drive to where they need to go. And to me, that's into your showroom. So we have a quick poll, and Eliana, again, going to need your help. I'm looking for you. I'm looking for some help right now.
I'm looking for some help too, Todd. From you, our valued audience, here is your third poll question, and it's up on the screen now. We want to know, what percentage of all chat requests do you think are related to fixed ops? On average, of course. What percentage of all chat requests do you think are related to fixed ops? Please select one of the following answers. Do you think it's 15%? 25%? Do you think it's as high as 30%? Or do you think it's even as high as 50%? Please let us know. What percentage, on average, of all chat requests do you think are related to fixed ops? Once we get a majority of those votes, we'll close the poll and we'll share those results. And then Todd's going to tell us what the actual answer is. Right, Todd?
Hey, I'm going to tell you. So,
all right.
yes.
That's great because I see the votes coming in. And I don't want to sway anyone in any which direction. But I got to tell you, there isn't a clear winner. So that tells me that even though I have a very smart, very savvy, very tech-oriented audience, that I don't think that this is something that our audience members actually know the answers to, because it is very, very widespread. And I'll show you right now, because I'm going to close this poll and share it with you right now. Are you ready, Todd?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, audience, here we go. I want you to see this for yourselves. Okay, 37% was the biggest majority that we got, and they think it's 30% of all chat requests on average are related to fixed ops, 30%. So they think a third of all chat requests are related to fixed ops, right? 26% of today's audience think it's more like 25%. 22% of today's audience think it's as low as only 15%. And then there's some renegades out there. We got 15% of my audience who thinks that half of all chat requests are related to fixed ops. So
awesome.
what is the answer? I mean, it's all pretty evenly spread, you know?
Eliana, this is a trick question because I just told the answer right before. I did this. I want to know who's, and hey, there's 37% of the people on this webinar. I love you guys. You're listening. This is great. This is so much fun. I will tell you, the correct answer on average is 30%, right? And now, it does get a little tricky though, and I'm going to share with you the trickiness of this. So, to me, live chat is also a super powerful weapon to not only get new business, but to create that repeat customer business, and that's where we do it with fixed ops, right? So depending on your brand, I threw up some brands right now just to show you percentage of fixed op chats that are happening by brand. And if you're on the higher line brands, you get more chats through fixed op, people scheduling service. They're fluid with the experience, right? They get it, they understand it, all the way down. But 30% on average, and it's close. I mean, some Mercedes stores, I'm sure, and Lexus probably get over half of them, are service and parts related chats. Now, this is important, and I want you to take note of this because, and this is really, really important. If you push live chat into your dealership or have, and you don't have that fixed op team in place or routing in place, you're losing tons of opportunities. Because let's be honest, if I'm a salesperson and someone pops online and wants to chat and says, hey, I'd like to book a service appointment, and I'm a sales guy, I'm not getting paid to book service appointments, I'm probably not going to give this shopper the best experience. And to me, this is that critical thing that you have to be able to push chat and leverage it throughout every point of the dealership and have team members there, if you're going to do it yourself, to be able to leverage it at every point. So, when I think about service leads, where are they going? Are they going into your CRM, your sales CRM? Are we miscounting them as sales leads? Are they getting routed to the service managers, a service writer, or combination? Or some sales guys are probably just chucking them and they're not doing anything with them and say, hey, this is a sales, just call service, here's the number. And oh my gosh, mind-blown experience. I went online trying to do something and now you just tell me to call? Bad. This is where live chat fails all the time. And to me, it's critical that we have the right mechanisms in place and the right strategies and processes that we ensure we get the most out of using live chat all the time. And that comes down to 5, make chat part of your sales process, right? I always love the idea, and like in theory, you would think live chat is one of those set it and forget it. You guys remember Ron? Ron was a great guy. Boom, he said throw a couple chickens in here, throw some spice on that crap. Now you could go do your nails, you could go play pool, go drink some beers on your deck, whatever you want to do. Come back and bam, you got great chickens.
Ron,
and they're looking awesome.
Oh my
and I will tell you, unfortunately, this is not how live chat works at all. Live chat takes a lot of effort. It takes integrating the leads directly into CRM. Yes, right? We've got to do that. One of, again, mind-blown things. Big idea. Read the transcripts before you reply. I have seen it over and over again. great conversation with the consumer. You know, consumer's all pumped up, has one other question before they want to step foot in the store. Salesperson calls the customer and goes, how can I help you? They just spent 10 minutes telling the chat rep what they needed. And boom, disconnected experience. Customers like, man, this guy's not even listening to me, and didn't. Boom, that's a huge fail to me. So I think about it, and you have to be able to read those transcripts. Have that dedicated team to follow up on those chat leads. Do it quickly. You know, chat leads are a powerful lead opportunity because it's not a form. It's a conversation behind it. We would all say, well, hey, Todd, you know, the greatest thing, phone-ups are the greatest value. Well, phone-ups are a very incredible value. But now think about a live chat value. It's still a conversation. But I have all kinds of additional data points that I didn't get on a phone call. A, I know exactly where you're located. Are you local to me? Are you 500 miles away? Because of geo-targeting and geo-tagging, I can see in the chat conversation whether you're close or far. I can see what keywords you typed into Google to get to the store and get to that website. I'm looking for a cheap car in Orlando. Whatever it is. I can see you're a first-time visitor, 10th-time visitor. I can see what cars you have looked at. So when you bring all this data together, to me, it's a powerful ways that, man, we just didn't have this. When a customer walked on the lot, I looked at what they drove in on, you know, and I looked at the product they're looking at, and I have to kind of piece crap together. Well, now with technology, I can see everything. It's so scary what we can actually see in the back and predict consumer experience based on what they've done. You know, the other thing is, really being able to have process to escalate those repeat chatters, because sometimes people come in, they'll chat, and then they're still not sure, and they keep looking, or they're looking for a certain car to pop up in your inventory. And the other thing is, how are we going to deal with those repeat chatters, right? How are we going to escalate the unhappy people who pop up there? How are we going to also review that follow-up process? Because to me, the only way we get better in anything is dedication to task and breaking it all down and retraining and retraining and retraining. And I will tell you, we retrain our staff twice a week. We break down chat conversations, what you did right, what you did wrong, how can we do things better. This is a mindset, and when you can get your team into that mindset, or your outsourced team has that mindset, you're going to get unbelievably profound results. So again, I'm going to open it up to a quick poll, which is there, and I know that I lost my poll.
I got you, Todd. Don't worry.
I was like, well, my slide has now disappeared.
No
I will
problem.
tell you. Okay.
Audience, we have your fourth and final poll question on the screen now, and we're curious. We want to know, you got live chat, right? So are you more likely to have your own team in-house handle chat, or would you rather have a managed service handle those live chats on your behalf? Please select one of the following options. Would you rather A, handle it in-house, B, use a managed service, or would you rather do a hybrid, so like you do it during the day in-house and then after hours you have a managed service handle it, or you just won't use chat at all? Whatever the answer is, you let us know. We want to know. And once we get a majority of those votes, we'll close this poll and we'll share the results. And thank you so much, audience, for your answers. They're coming in super fast. So
good.
To repeat,
I love this.
If you have live chat, are you more likely to use your own team in-house to handle the live chats? Or would you rather have a managed service handle them? Or would you kind of do both? Have you guys do it during the day and then have the managed service do it after hours? Or maybe you don't want to use chat at all. So let us know. We already have a majority of the vote. So let's go with this. Todd, are you ready?
I am waiting on bated breath right now. So excited. Help me out.
All right, here we go. We're going to close this poll and share the results. Well, 64% of today's audience said that they would rather handle it in-house. 16% said that they would use a managed service, and 20% of today's audience think that using a hybrid, doing it in-house and then using a managed service after hours, is the way to go. And no one actually said that they wouldn't use chat at all. So does that help you out, Todd? Is that what you were expecting?
Yes. Well, we think about it. We had 8% before it wasn't using live chat, so now I think we got the 8% excited from the poll before. So I feel like, hey, this is a win. I'm really loving this stuff, right? So I put up live chat benchmarks. These are our benchmarks, right? So if you're going to do it yourself, this is what you should be holding your team accountable for. This is best practice. This is done month in, month out for us. So I feel that, you know, if you're going to do it yourself, 1 to 2% of unique visitors click the chat. So ultimately be looking for opportunities to increase that. You want to hold your team accountable, whether it's outsourced or you're doing it yourself, to about 6 seconds or less. 80% chat to lead conversion. That means 80% of chats turn into a lead, meaning I've collected a name, email, and phone number inside that conversation. 20% of first-time chatters will actually set an appointment, a sales lead appointment, with inside that first chat. And your closing ratio for your live chat should be anywhere between 15 and 20%. Now, also I want to note on here that the average live chat conversation length is 10 minutes. So knowing that if you're going to staff and have dedicated people, based on your website traffic, you're going to have that many people relatively available to hold down those conversations. And now, for us, we put all our people on a governor. They can't handle more than 3 chats at once. So you probably want to do the same thing because we're all not civil. We're not all born with multiple personalities. And we want quality of conversation. And the only way that's going to happen is if we help our people or your people to focus on the conversation. And we want, again, quick pickup, move the shopper through an experience. To me, it's all about A or B, giving shoppers just a couple options. Don't ever open up conversations to how can I help you. We want to drive the conversation to an end result. So I got a couple takeaways for you. So, you know, I look at this. Chat is that powerful tool that will help you to connect with more shoppers on your site, hands down. For some of you, you may get a 50% bump. Some of you may double the amount of leads you're generating from your site, especially if your site is hard to navigate or it's hard to get to certain things. Now, some of those chats may be, hey, I just want driving directions to your store, what time you open, I want to come in today for an oil change. But you're going to get a lot of people that are just going to say, hey, is that car available? Or I saw a car on another site, and I saw it's at your store. Do you have that? I don't see it available right now. And to me, building trust with a shopper, this is critical. First thing I was taught in sales, besides being handed a phone book to go prospect from, was get them to like you. Get them to trust you. And Todd, only one of 2 things are going to happen at the end of that. You're going to convince them of every reason why they're going to buy a car, or they're going to convince you of every reason why they're not going to buy a car, but someone's going to get sold. And to me, I take that to heart. It is about building trust. Chuck the scripts. Get natural. Hire people, if you're going to do it yourself, with what I consider customer-facing experience, like hospitality people, people that are good at handling angry people, happy people, and people that are just relatable. You know, right now about 35% of new car dealers have live chat, which means, you know, huge opportunity for you to have a competitive advantage. And I take this all the way back to the 80s. You know, I think back in the I've been inside the business a long time. I started selling cars in '89, but I cleaned cars for a couple of years before. I worked in service. You know, I did all those what I consider fun kind of jobs that everyone loves to drive, like really expensive cars around when you're, you know, 16, 17 years old, and even if it's from the detail shop back to the service drive. And, you know, one of the things that I looked was that was when 800 numbers really started to become popular. And I think that the dealers who had 800 lines had a competitive advantage. And I look today, because not all dealers have live chat, it's a competitive advantage. Now, fast forward a few more years, everyone's going to have live chat, right? And just like everyone has an 800 number today, it's just accelerating at a faster timetable. You know, I laugh. I go all the way back, and I was having dinner with Luther Coggin, who's an auto dealer in Florida, and he was telling me about his grandfather, or actually it was his father, because Luther was very old. It was his father and grandfather had a service station, and they were pissed that they were finally putting phones in everyone's house, and they had realized that people were not going to bring the car down to their service station to get service. They were going to call and ask them to come pick them up. And he was telling me about this, and I was like, it's mind-blowing to me, right? And now fast forward 70 years, and, again, we're just in that constant change. And live chat is that powerful tool. And whether it's consumers wanting to access it via your website, mobile device, you need to make live chat easily available and fluid. And that doesn't mean taking a live chat and turning it into a text message. It means keeping it inside the live chat conversation, keeping that tool intact. Because to me, I've seen some technology that switches it to a mobile but makes it a text message. Well, that's a huge problem, because now as a text message, you're held to all types of different regulations. And to me, if I can keep it inside the same medium, I'm going to have, again, a more fluid experience. As I said, 30% of chats are fixed ops related. So if you're doing it yourself, ensure you have a plan in place. Even if you're not going to do it yourself, ensure you have a plan in place to make sure those leads go to the right place. And integrate chat throughout your digital marketing strategy, whether it's your email newsletters, your digital or your social marketing, whether it's your landing pages, whether it's your own website, whether it's your mobile site. Ensure you have chat at every potential touch point. And if you're like the Todd Caputo Used Car King, put it in your ads. Put it on, whatever. It could be your radio ads, your television ads, your newspaper ads. Drive people to that live experience. That, to me, is a powerful, easy-to-use takeaway. So now I'm open to some questions. Eliana, I'm going to turn on my scary camera. I'm ready.
The scary camera?
Here it is.
Okay, yeah. Well, while Todd is doing that, he's going to forward to the, how you doing, Todd? Forward to the next slide, because I want to make sure everyone realizes that if they missed it at the beginning of the webinar, I announced that our good friends at ActivEngage, they're giving away a fantastic prize today on the webinar, and guess what? You're all winners. You're all winners. I love when this happens. Every attendee today, every one of you is going to be winning a free website homepage analysis that uses ActivEngage's Active IMAP technology. It is so cool. What a great prize for your dealership. You can see the parts that are like super dark red, those are the parts that your consumers' eyes go to first and most often. So it's really cool. It lets you know how well your homepage is performing and if people are actually seeing what you want them to see and clicking on what you want them to click on, that kind of thing, and what is the most popular part of your homepage. So this prize...
I will tell you, Eliana, one other takeaway of that, it's hilarious. So we had Greenway Ford, which is an Orlando dealer, and Conrad Lesson, owner, great guy, and we were sitting there, and I looked at, I don't know, maybe a month and a half worth of data of the IMAP of people experiencing the website, and I noticed it was red hot up around his address. I was like, why is it crazy red hot around his address? So I actually went in and looked, and people were copying the web address out and then going and putting it in map software. So it was funny. I went to Conrad. I said, hey, Conrad, why don't we make your address linkable and to load up driving directories? He's like, that's a brilliant idea. And I was like, guess what? It's not my idea. It's thousands of people visiting your website. I could have said it was my idea, but I was like, nah, Conrad, I've been friends with you a long time. So I was like, but listen, it's amazing. We all have opinions about websites, but what's most powerful is actually watching thousands of users experience it. And to me, that's the truth. And that is what this product is driven to do. It's help you uncover the truth. And listen, we can do your homepage, we can do your VDP page, whatever. It doesn't matter. Pick your page that you want to focus on. I'm more than happy to take the time, run an IMAP on it, get some data, and share that with you.
Thank you so much, Todd. Hey, by the way, for some reason, all of a sudden you sound super far away, so I was wondering if there's any way you could get closer to whatever microphone you're using. We'd really appreciate that, because people are writing in and asking because they can't hear you. But, audience, yes, each one of you is getting this. This prize, so awesome, valued at $200, and you're all going to be contacted directly by our friends from ActivEngage about claiming your homepage analysis with Active IMAP technology. So congratulations, everyone, and of course, We also want to thank our good friends at ActivEngage for their incredible generosity. All right, Todd, you can go to the next slide now. And we've got a handful of great questions for you. And audience, if you haven't written in your question yet for the amazing Todd Smith, now is a perfect time to do it, okay? So let's get to these few questions that we have for you. Your first question comes to you from David. He says, currently, we have our chats handled by our internet sales team. We don't have a BDC and do our chat in-house. Now, if there are big opportunities for fixed ops with chat, how do we funnel the fixed ops chats to fixed ops? Any advice on that, Todd?
Sure. For most people, the easiest thing is to have one extra internet staff handle all the fixed ops chats for your organization. If you cannot do that, another alternative is to have one of your service advisors or two of the service advisors. It's tough. They're just not always on their computers. They're usually up on the drive. But if they have one or two that you can actually push the live chat to, that would work as well. This is where I always feel that you have to have that dedicated staff to be successful. And, when you have people in the internet department, a lot of times they're multitasking, right? So they're handling emails. They're handling phone calls. Now you have them handling chats. And it's hard to be a master of everything. This is where specialization can help you. So maybe you have two people handle all of your chats, not just your internet salespeople, but maybe you have two people, and that's their whole focus, is just setting appointments for chat, whether it's through sales or service.
David, I hope that helps you out. Thank you so much for the great question. Now, Todd, your next question comes to you from Rory. And Rory says that he makes it known to customers that live chat is available for sales-related assistance. But his actual percentage is lower than 15%. He wrote this question in when we were asking the poll question. But Rory wants to know, how do you get more people to use live chat for service-related items? Because he's not getting 30% at all,
right,
or close to that.
Okay, that's easy. I think, first off, targeting your service pages with a different message. Now, think about it this way. A lot of people just use like a standard drop-down invitation to chat. But what's really most powerful is when you can use behavioral type invitations, meaning the chat drop-down or proactive invitation is relative to what the consumer is doing on your site. So if we think about that for a second, so let's say they land on a VDP page of a 2011, whatever, Hyundai Genesis, right? So the cool thing at that moment would, instead of just dropping down with a generic, hi, how can I help you, it would be a drop-in that says, and a proactive invitation that says, hi, can I answer any questions about the 2011 Hyundai Genesis? Why? Because right message, right time. It becomes relevant to what the experience that's going on is. Much more effective than a standard one. Same on your service pages. Think about it this way. If it drops down and says, would you like me to book a service appointment for you? Much more likely for a consumer to engage on that than a generic, hi, can I answer any questions? So to me, behavioral intelligence, behavioral, what I call invitations, are much more likely to get you to where you want to go and get you a higher level of results every single time.
Thank you so much. Rory, great question. If you have a follow-up question, please write it on in. And Todd, we're still having some people that are saying that they are having difficulty hearing you. It's like as soon as you turned on your webcam, your audio went into the crapper.
Okay, do you want me to kill the webcam and just go back to my audio?
I don't know. Let's try it. Couldn't hurt, I guess.
Okay, so ready? Bam. Okay, is my audio much better?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
I hope so. I'm really excited again.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
All right, next question for you comes from Christy. Christy wants to know, is it normal that they only get one chat maybe every other week? And if that is low, and it does kind of sound low, but you're going to let us know because you're the expert, how do you get more people to hit you up on chat?
Great question. Now, chat is in an exact proportion to the number of unique visitors to the website. So if you find websites that are delivering under 800,000 unique visitors a month, do not proportionally get very many chats. But there are some things you can do immediately to improve the number of chats. One, ensure your button is on every page in the same location and pretty big, okay? Two, use the proactive invitation. I would always switch to a behavioral one based on what the shopper is doing and at what experience. That way it gives a more richness and feel that, hey, this person is trying to answer my specific questions on whatever I'm doing at that point. And three, we've had a tremendous amount of success by adding a toolbar function to the website. So it's like an overlay. It's a toolbar. The chat is on the toolbar. And when you combine these elements, you should absolutely get a pickup in the number of chats. Now, also, if you are doing it yourself, it is relevant to how much time and how often you are logged in. You're going to need to operate with inside the hours that your store is open. Middle of the night, all that doesn't really matter. The majority of dealership traffic happens during your business hours. So ensure you have staff available all the time to cover those hours.
Great. And Chrissy, great question. And I should have mentioned also that David also asked a almost identical question, which you have now answered. So thank you so much for your question as well, David. All right, follow-up questions, get them on in. We only have 2 or 3 other questions here, and then we'll be closing out the webinar. Okay, next one comes to you from Kate. And Kate says, what is, on average, the percentage difference in chat sales with videos and pictures versus no videos and pictures?
Okay. I'm going to need a little bit more clarification on that. Meaning...
Oh, she's talking about when the sales reps have their own picture in their business card. Is that better or no picture at all?
Okay. A few things in here. Now, when, as a dealer, and I'm going to put on my dealer hat right this second. Okay. So when I have staff and they're going to use their own individual pictures, a few things happen. One, now my people are now, and I'm using their images inside my marketing, which is not always a good thing, and I'm going to have a little bit of liability. Two, I always think potential stalker issues, if someone can now see my face and attaches it to the store, that's probably not a good thing. Also, many studies have been done that beautiful people and models, not saying everyone in this audience isn't absolutely the most...
They're stunners, baby. They are stunners.
Everyone's a stunner, but statistics have been said that models will always outperform actual people.
Really?
I know that's kind of scary, right? Because, listen, models are just photoshopped. I mean, they're not real people anyway. Nobody eats 62 calories a day and lives, okay?
Okay.
So, and it's funny, whether it's a male model or a female model, because we know, like Volkswagen, just as an example, caters to a gray hair male model. People think that ties in. Now, I will tell you, Southeast, they like blonde models. If they're in New York, they have to be brunette. It's very interesting, in different parts of the country, different images of the local area is what people are going to gravitate towards, because that's what they see all the time, and that's what they feel comfortable with. And, there's something we said. We are attracted to very beautiful people because all the way back, thousands of years, in our reproductive sense, we're attracted to beautiful people because they look healthy, and we know they'll be good reproducers. So our eyes are caught by beautiful people statistically. So I always said, and I always used model pictures, even at my own dealership, because A, I didn't want the liability of having my individual pictures up, and 2, I wanted to just give that friendly face. Because the reality is, once you start a conversation, you don't need any picture. The goal was just to kind of get them into the conversation. Now, having beautiful people, and if you operate 24/7, that could get a little weird because I'm sure many of the chats in the middle of the night that we get here at ActivEngage are, well, what are you wearing? Is that really your picture? You know, and I mean, it gets pretty creepy. So, you know, as much as having the beautiful people, they do work and they are effective, and we definitely find you will just get that little extra edge and not leave yourself out for any liability.
Excellent. Okay. We have a lot of questions that just came in, so this is very good. Audience, keep sending those questions in because we are going to close out the show soon. And Kate, if you have a follow-up question, hey, write on in, okay? Oh, actually she did. She says, Chat Live, also has an app from mobile which allows our reps to take live images and virtual walkarounds of the current chat customer without disconnecting the session. Is there any data that supports a stronger close rate for those conversions with images and video versus the conversions that do not contain any images or videos? Interesting.
That's a great question, and that piece of technology we just launched ourselves. It hasn't been out long enough. We don't have enough data to say it's going to help or not. Now, I will tell you, a couple years ago, we launched a product, our Active Test Drive, where as we're chatting, we'd slide out a window, play a video of that particular vehicle. Worked great for new cars, especially to help move consumers who hadn't seen that car and really got a touchy feel. So it was kind of like that virtual walk around. That absolutely helped. But it also can be a distraction to the conversation. So, you know, you have to use that type of technology sparingly, only when we're just not getting the customer over the hurdles we need to get them. You know, they're just they've dug their claws in. So I think through time we're going to have a better understanding of that technology as we use it more often and we get more feedback from our dealers about them using it because, listen, at the end of the day, I always think a powerful experience. I'm chatting on my computer. Customer goes, I'm not coming down until I see a picture online and it looks like that back rear quarter panel is dented. And I can just transfer it to my cell phone instead of disconnecting, walking out, still talking to the customer, take a picture of it, streams through the chat or take a quick video and say, look, this car is flawless. Will that absolutely help sell? I think so, because most people definitely respond to their visual, and it's going to be that tool. Now, I say that with the caveat that you can use tools like this, but the real goal is to keep the conversation moving and not use these as crutches, but more as a selling tool inside the arsenal.
I got you. I got you. Kate, good luck with that. Love to hear how that live chat feature is working out for you. Oh, and she wrote in agreed and thank you. So thank you so much for that. All right, let's move on to our last few questions here. For instance, we have Elmer who wrote in, says, did I hear correctly that you should not start the chat with your prospect? So let the prospect or the customer start the chat? Because, I mean, is that right? Is that what you said, Todd? You shouldn't, like, have the thing pop up and drop down in front of them and say, hey, is there anything I can help you with? You just wait until they click on it?
Oh, no. No. Good clarification for Elmer here. Proactive invitations are incredibly powerful. You'll get double the amount of conversion on your site just by using proactive invitations. So it is a very important part to always invite the shopper into the experience. Now, you do want to time when you invite them, because if you're just dropping it on every single page, you can get a little pushback. You know, consumers are like, I already closed that out. I don't want to keep seeing it again and again. You, at that point, would park the chat on the right or left side. Right now, I always say park things on the left side because statistically, again, I'm going to blame Google. Latest studies now show that consumers are not looking at the right third of a screen. Why? Because that's where all the ads are. And we have now trained our brains to turn off the right side of the screen because we know it's just full of ads. So, you know, when you think about that, you want to ensure your stuff's probably on the left side because consumers are still looking there. But the proactive invitation absolutely is still a very powerful piece of being successful with leveraging live chat.
Thank you. Great question, Elmer. And if you have a follow-up, hey, send that on in. Now, last two questions. First one comes from Doug. Doug says, how would you recommend one person take all the sales calls, schedule appointments, file the CRM info, follow up with customers, and monitor chat all day long. Is that what you're suggesting, Todd?
Absolutely not. I mean, there is no way. I am so into, I'm a big believer in segmentation and mastering skill sets, right? And there is very few people on the planet that have the ability to master phone ups, master CRM diligence of putting data in, master email follow-up, and now master chat, and then master the face-to-face.
And the CRM. Yeah, that's a lot.
It's not possible. So I'm much more of a specialist, right? I think you should have dedicated people handling just, your phone-ups. Their job should just be setting appointments. That's all they should be focused on, right? And then they work those scripts. You should have people dedicated for live chat. And the real reality is, if you find a good outsourced partner, it's still cheaper to outsource it than to do it in-house. It's mathematics. I did it in-house because there was no outsource when I had my store. But to me, things still come down to mathematics. If I can generate super high-quality leads from an outsourced service and my cost per sale is in line, why wouldn't I do that? And I think it's important when you can find specialists and you can train your people to just do certain things, they will perform so much better than trying to multitask. There has been many studies that have been completed that says the human mind is not capable of multitasking. And it's documented. The mind can only do one thing at a time. Now, it can do one thing, shut off, and now go do another thing, but it can't do two things simultaneously. It's not possible. And, I think dealership, they've stretched the internet guy into a Superman. Or the girl into a super person that doesn't really exist. So we operate at 40% success instead of specializing that we could get peak performance. And that's what I'm about. How do I get so good at something that, when that phone rings, I'm going to turn 70% of them into a walk-in, or whatever. I'm going to turn 70% of them into an appointment. Or I get an email, I'm so good at sending emails back, or, I'm so good at leaving voicemail messages that I get a return call. To me, when you can train and have that level of specialization, you're going to hit a home run.
Doug, the man speaks the truth. So if you have any follow-up questions, you got literally about a minute before we close out this show to ask it, all right? Otherwise, you and everyone else, please feel free to contact Todd Smith directly. His contact information is up on the screen right now. And he is so, so kind, and I'm sure he is ready and able and willing to help you out with all of your live chat questions. Last question for you, Todd, comes from Christy. Christy says, do you know of a great dealership website example that's using live chat correctly that she can actually see?
Yes, I would go. I obviously, we monitor thousands of sites. The one site I think he has the most vested interest in live chat is usedcarking.com. I think the site has gone through so many revisions. It has just morphed into a powerful lead generation site. Now, this site gets tons of traffic. He drives everything to the site, but he also has a phenomenal conversion rate of phone calls, forms, and live chats through the website. I think it's a good overall experience site. It puts the inventory first, and it helps connect the consumer into conversations. And Used Car King, to me, it's probably one of the best sites right now. Sites always change, and you have to constantly evolve. But for today, Christy, that's the site I would go to.
Thank you so much. Christy and everyone else, go check that one out. And Todd, thank you so much for an inspired presentation. That was fabulous. I love learning about live chat. And audience, I hope you did too, because we're at the top of the hour, and any questions that weren't answered during the time allotted, don't worry, we're going to answer them by email later today. And I also want to remind the audience that a link to download a copy of this webinar recording is also going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. So please feel free to share it with your friends and your colleagues. And this webinar is also going to be posted online within 24 hours. All you have to do is go to dealerun.com/webinars, and click on the link on the right-hand side for on-demand webinars. Hey, and while you're there, you can access any of our past webinars, and you can also view and register for any of our upcoming webinars too. And at the conclusion of this webinar in just a moment, you're going to get a short survey. Don't ignore my survey, people. I want you to fill it out. We're always looking for great feedback from our audience. I want to know what you thought of Todd Smith's presentation today. We're going to randomly select a couple of people from all the completed surveys to also win some Google prizes. So let's get on that, all right? Hey, I also want to let you know that DEALERUN is excited to announce their involvement at the upcoming Dealer Think Tank in Washington, D.C., August 14th. The Dealer Think Tank, well, guess what? They've been getting tremendous praise for their informative, fun-filled workshops, and they educate everyone from the greenest of the green to the most seasoned industry veterans. So don't miss it. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, we're here to help. We got a discount code on the screen for you. It's going to save you 50% off of the registration ticket. So use that discount code when you register. And by the way, I want to congratulate Christy Garcia. She's our winner today. She won herself a free ticket to Dealer Think Tank on August 14th in Washington, D.C. So congratulations, Christy. You're going to be hearing from our, us over here at DEALERUN about that ticket. And we hope to see you there. And don't worry, I'm giving away another free ticket next Wednesday during the webinar. So if you want one, come to next week's webinar as well. And speaking of next week's webinar, invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next webinar. And woo, it's a doozy. An expert from Google is going to discuss how to market fixed ops online. You heard it. Vehicle maintenance queries on Google have increased 38% year after year, and 70% of drivers are turning to search when deciding where to service their vehicle, which proves that marketing to this select group of online shoppers is a very important task. Now, that being said, car parts and service shoppers are quick to make decisions, with a majority deciding within a week, and they actively compare multiple brands, with most researching 2 or more brands, and they prioritize convenience and immediacy. Moreover, dealer service shops compete not only with other dealers, but also local and national service shops. So when it comes to getting a shopper's attention online for fixed ops, yeah, car dealers certainly have an uphill battle. In this tremendous 1-hour webinar, Peter Lito from Google's Dealer Jumpstart team is here to help you navigate the challenges of marketing fixed ops to today's online customers. He's going to begin by reviewing driver behavior and trends among fixed ops shoppers to show how these customers make decisions and where they perform much of their research. He's then going to turn the attention to tactical solutions dealers can implement to enter the consideration set and drive more ROs for the dealership. And finally, attendees will learn how to implement the most effective marketing strategies to generate more service appointments and parts orders online. Customers have changed the way they look for someone to service their cars. Has your dealership kept up? If you're ready to listen to an expert from Google discuss how to market fixed ops online, well then this is a webinar you just can't afford to miss. Don't forget, DEALERUN's weekly webinars are held every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. And we have some really great webinar subjects planned for this year. But if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding these webinars and our topics, hey, feel free to contact me directly. Again, my name is Eliana Raggio. I love hearing from all of you, so track me down online. I'm everywhere. I'm on Google+, Facebook, Twitter. I'm on all the automotive social networks. Or you can email me directly at eliana@dealerun.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on a future webinar in our continuing education series. Take care.